Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump gains in approval after impeachment, which is really hilarious, and there's literally nothing they can do against President Trump to take him down. Absolutely nothing. There's nothing they can do because the Democratic Party is actually infinitely more corrupt than President Trump is ever thought to have been. Trump did not work with Russia. He did not leverage the Ukraine to go up against Biden. You and I have a better chance of becoming president than Joe Biden. Clinton is becoming the Democratic nominee. I've stated that since 2017. She's going to lose again. That's completely irrelevant. It's a political machine, and they benefit whether she loses or wins. It really doesn't matter. It's like a hedge fund. They benefit either way. But this is a really interesting article in Axios. How an impeached Trump wins. President Trump is showing how he could be impeached, survive, and still win re-election, something never done before in American history. Okay, so Clinton was impeached after the election, but in his second term, apparently, and still his approval rating increased, not decreased. But President Trump is showing he could be impeached, survive, and still win re-election, something never done before in American history. This is an Axios article about 25 minutes ago. Between the lines, Trump officials think two things must unfold for this to happen. Republicans must stay unified in votes and voice, and the economy must be strong in jobs and market returns. The trends are strong on both fronts. They keep on trying to say when they can't win on the merits, when Democrats and liberals and progressives and people on the left who don't like Trump for whatever reason, when they can't win a debate on the merits, they then go into the ambiguous, broad, overreaching conjecture and hyperbole. Well, you know what? Yeah, the economy is okay, but he is tearing apart the fabric of American democracy. This is all nonsense. They set up and framed President Trump based on a Steele dossier purchased by Clinton. So anyway, we can go on forever. They're the most duplicitous, disingenuous, corrupt political entity that has ever existed in American history. How many times has a political party cheated a specific candidate and then blamed another country? Only Democrats. But let's continue. Every single House Republican voted against formal impeachment proceeding, a powerful show of unity. Well, what did you think they were going to do? What did you think the minority party in the House of Representatives was going to do? In the Senate, there are a few public signs of the Great Red Wall cracking. Importantly, Senate Republicans are discussing how you need 67 senators, and they need a great amount of maybe 13 or 14 around there to turn, and there aren't 13 or 14 Mitt Romneys. But importantly, because they own the Senate, so you would need a whole lot of Republicans. But anyway, importantly, the Senate's not going to convict President Trump. That's what they have to understand. The Senate's not going to convict President Trump. He's going to gain in the polls after impeachment, just like Bill Clinton did. So sources close to Republican leadership told us they expect GOP senators to ultimately settle on a talking point that Trump actions were inappropriate but not impeachable. Inappropriate. Really? Because Biden's conflicts of interest weren't already discussed by Kenneth Vogel, by John Solomon, Kenneth Vogel of Politico and then the New York Times, and then John Solomon of The Hill, and James Risen in 2015. Then he wrote an Intercept article saying, "Oh, well, you know what? Conservatives and Trump supporters have taken my words out of context." Yeah, right. The conflicts of interest are there. Simply because Democrats think it's not a conflict of interest doesn't mean it's some kind of conspiratorial fantasy. But then again, They continue to, what they've done is they've continued to create a fantasy world. How do I explain this? They create their own fantasy world and then say, well, that's reality. Well, the reality is that Loretta Lynch didn't meet with Bill Clinton to speak about golf, Brexit, and grandchildren. Hillary Clinton didn't use a private server or servers for yoga emails and delete only yoga emails. I mean, we can go on forever. There are legitimate, real crimes that they've committed. They fabricated crimes under Trump. This is a fact. This is backed up by public record evidence. But let's continue. You can't transfer top secret intelligence onto servers outside of the United States government. You just can't do that. And that's what Clinton did. But anyway, sources close to Republican leadership told us they expect many GOP senators to ultimately settle on a talking point that Trump's actions were inappropriate but not impeachable. You and I have a better chance of becoming president than Joe Biden. Joe Biden's not a serious contender. Clinton's becoming the president. Well, not the president, but the Democratic nominee. She'll lose to Trump again. The economy is humming too. Markets are rising. Growth continues, albeit more slowly, and more jobs are materializing. It's hard to argue that Trump's economy is anything but consistently strong 1 year out from the presidential election. So there you go. The big picture, the worst case scenario, the Senate convicts Trump, only presents itself if there's a material change in fact pattern. Yeah, right. If we know what we know right now, there is no problem, Mitch McConnell, a source close to Mitch McConnell, said. They're not going to convict Trump of a phone conversation because Democrats think that everything revolves around their election chances. Everything revolves around whether or not they can win. Democrats say, oh, well, you know what? The DNC was hacked by Russia to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated because they feared Clinton so much, thus giving Clinton the popular vote. So how does Russia interfere in the election but give Clinton the popular vote? And then which Facebook ads affected voters in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida and Wisconsin? Because they all went President Trump. They can't answer that question. They can't answer that question. So that's the thing. I mean, they're all over the place. They're all over the place. They can't answer that question. And so you have behind the scenes, McConnell has privately told Trump that Senate Republicans aren't as susceptible to his pressure as House Republicans are. Yeah, right. Senate Republicans will not convict Trump because they know it will be the end of the Republican Party. Deep down, they know that Democrats are simply... Okay, Trump approval steady at 46%, The Hill. This is a Harvard-Harris poll. 46%. It's pretty good. You have to also understand, President Trump's approval rating remained steady in October amid an escalating impeachment inquiry. Okay, according to a new Harvard-Harris poll, 46%. President Trump approval rating steady at 46%, according to Harvard-Harris poll. They have devoted their entire lives. They have given their souls to impeachment and to denigrating. The thing with impeachment is that they can't impeach him on anything to do with the economy or with foreign policy. They keep on trying to say that his election chances, Democrats' electoral chances. They say that Democrats keep saying, well, you know what? Anything that has to do with our ability to win the next election is an impeachable offense. Anything that has to do with our ability to win the next election is a grandiose national security issue. That is not the case. That is not the case. The Democratic National Committee could be hacked from here until eternity. That still would not mean that national security had been tarnished or damaged or harmed. The Democratic National Committee is a private entity. It is not part of the United States government. It is a private entity. So therefore, let's just assume that the Russians hacked the DNC because they were so afraid of Hillary Clinton. Yeah, right. Bill Clinton met with Putin. This is according to The Hill, and this is according to The Hill and Newsweek, and other publications too. He met with Putin as the uranium deal was going down. Then he got $500,000 in speaking fees. This is why John Durham, this is one of the reasons that John Durham and William Barr, they know what's going on. They all know what's going on. If I obsess over this, what do you think Trump does? The difference between me and Trump is that he's a billionaire who's able to obsess about things, but also kind of keep them in the back burner or in different compartments. So he's doing a whole bunch of things while at the same time acting like me. President Trump is thinking about this day and night. He knows what Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, all of them did. He knows what all of them did. And he knows that there's enough evidence to convict all of them. And he also knows that Clinton's running again. So, the issue of Trump being impeached, that's simply going to increase his poll numbers. It's not going to decrease his poll numbers. It's not going to like, oh, he got impeached by the House. So what? The House is a joke. The House of Representatives is a complete and utter joke. Nobody cares what they say. Absolutely, positively, nobody. Nobody cares what they do. Democrats elected them based on a Green New Deal, which is, they passed a resolution, which is a public relations ploy, not legislation. Medicare for all, which now Elizabeth Warren is being eviscerated. Bernie Sanders is being eviscerated. Well, Bernie Sanders, actually, they're not touching him because they already cheated him. So the Democrats are like, we're not gonna really mess with Bernie. We'll just focus on Warren. Let's just focus on Warren. I mean, that's the main thing. Let's make sure Warren is the one that we focus on, and that's it. They're not actually. There is no Democratic Party. That's why when Trump gets impeached, because he'll get impeached. It's a bunch of nonsense, but he'll get impeached. And the issue here is whether or not Democratic voters will have enough after Clinton loses. He's getting impeached because to pave the way for Clinton, so she can come in and say, "Look, you might not like me, and sure, the economy's okay. Yeah, the economy's all right. Foreign policy's whatever. It'll be, with me, you'd have strength and smart power. But my personality isn't that great, but at least I'm better than Trump. You can vote for me again." And 98% of Democrats, 98% of the people, or over 90% of the people who voted Clinton in 2016 will vote Clinton again in 2020. That's the reason they're going to go with Clinton again. That's the reason the Democratic Party will never change. Because they know no matter what they do, no matter how much they manipulate, no matter how much they lie, no matter how much they deceive, people will always vote Democrat no matter what. People on the left will always vote Democrat no matter what. They will never withhold their votes. They will never say, I'm not voting for this person. And if they do, then it's like, oh my God, So now they're like, well, got the popular vote. More people in the country want it. It's like you outspent Trump 2-1. If the tables were reversed, you wouldn't have received the popular vote. There's a small chance they don't receive the popular vote. There's a good chance that they barely get the popular vote. Barely. Because of the overwhelmingly negative media coverage and because they'll pad their statistics with New York and Los Angeles. And so the blue states that have a great many, have most of the people in the country, or have the most populous, have the greatest populations, vote Democrat, and then they say, oh my God, the rest, she won the popular. Who cares? You have to amend the Constitution to change the Electoral College. So, and they're not even thinking of any kind of resolution or bill or, attempt at amending the Constitution because they know they're not going to get 2/3 of the House of Representatives and 2/3 of the Senate or 2/3 of state legislatures. They know that's impossible. So then they're stuck with just complaining. Give me your thoughts below. Trump gets impeached, his poll numbers increase, not decrease. That's what happened to Clinton. It'll happen to Trump also. Give me your thoughts. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now.